intentionally, right? And when fixing the flat, what do you do? Using worksheets, guided meditations, audiobooks, and other content, you take the time to fix your mental flat and get back on your awesome journey towards success together. Take your life to the next level today. Use this referral code during sign-up. nexLv is for you.
Everyone, to talk about all that we can become, shape your reality for future potential. Hey, good night. Thanks for joining us, T. And we spoke about how potential is it's like filling a glass with water, right? And the glass only has purpose because it's out on the floor. Without the container, there's nothing to hold the water in. There's no way to transport. It needs to have interesting conversations or carry it anyway. And so nexLv is, again, an awesome community that we are trying to build of people who are tasked with doing the mental work that's required to help us achieve great things and help us do the things that we all look forward in doing. If you ask most people their desires and their dreams, they have big dreams, and the average person still wants to accomplish big things and have a life that's purposeful and intentional and can help others and also help themselves and their families. Some guru said, what can we do to help ourselves really be the best selves, the best versions of ourselves? And I mean, this is really done because science has proven over and over again that this tool that's between our ears has just some amazing intrinsic abilities. The things that people have been able to do with their mind and creatively, it's just unforeseen. And so that segues into our conversation tonight of infinite possibilities and what's involved with that and how we can really access this world of really being able to do infinitely whatever we can. Hey, Devon, thanks for sharing. Thanks for joining. And you have that flat tire, you have tools. Well, hopefully you have tools, or at least you know someone who has them. So either you have it yourself or you know someone who has it, but you're never without tools. And so similarly, I believe that you should never be without tools mentally as well when you have those mental flats. And we all have them, whether it's on our own or whether it's because of like this year with the pandemic and kind of being forced to adjust how we live and how we interact with loved ones. It's like we've all had to make some changes and without our own input. And so if you have no tools to help you, I mean, people have literally lost their minds, like not for or Yvette, thank you so much for ignoring the process, realizing that things take time and things that you're trying to acquire will take some time to get there. And so it's about being part of this process and not just, as we will talk about tonight, with infinite possibilities. The second pass is like when you lose your keys and you're trying to get out of the house and you walk around the house, you scream at the kids and you scream at the wife, and then you turn the corner and the keys is on the dresser where you left it the very first place. Somehow you didn't see it the first time around, but on the second pass is when you found it. And so I'm hoping that that's what this can be for some people, is that second pass, the second opportunity to see some things that maybe you missed before, didn't pay attention to before, that can be helpful in what you're trying to accomplish. All right, and so again, you won't repair your flat without tools, so don't go through life thinking that mentally you'll be able to handle things that come your way without having tools or things in place to help you to facilitate that change, right? Mental flat fast as you want to, so just admit. And welcome, Ayani, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so that's a part of it too, right? What is in your toolkit? What things do you defer to? And so what I'm trying to create here is just another thing that you could have in your toolkit, another thing you can have to defer to help you when you face those mental flats. Also with a flat tire, your sense of direction is impaired. You're not able to turn as well as you were before your flat tire. And oftentimes, you know you have a flat because when your hand is off the steering wheel, the car is turning by itself. And so if you feel like, okay, your life is going in a direction and you have no control over where it's going, that's a sign too that there's a mental flat. That's a sign too that there is something going on outside of your control that you need to pay attention. Because it has a flat, is what will happen to you naturally because you're experienced. So that's what these tools are. And so I want to talk briefly tonight. Again, our conversations are really quick, like about 10 to 15 minutes or so, about infinite possibilities. And this topic is like, I mean, it's one of my favorite topics. My previous pastor, Dr. Barney, preached a lot about this, and this is I thought it was just one of the most powerful things I've ever heard in my life, and it kind of changed the way I think. And I'm hoping that you can tap capabilities to do more things than we do. The world of infinite possibilities, in the world of infinite possibilities, only happen to great people. Great people at one time were insignificant. When you look at, Michael Jackson or LeBron James or whoever you deem to be great, at some point there was some level of them just being normal. Even though we look at them now as these bigger than life people, at some point they were just like everyone else, right? And so you have to number one realize, like, as much as we are all special or unique, we all have access to the same things, right? The level that someone is at right now, that job is living there right now, right? It's not beyond your reach. That's how I see it, right? So I never look at things as out of my reach. I just don't have it yet. But if someone else has it, that means I can have it too. Unless we found out there's some new species of human that's living among us that has superhuman abilities and access to things, which is not proven, right? So as far as we know, the human race, we're all the same, internally, and so we all have the same abilities. And so if this guy can work hard to achieve something, to earn something, there's no reason why you're unable to work hard to achieve it yourself. So there's room for all of us in this world of infinite possibilities. And the thing that really ignites this for me, and when you think about it, is this really true? Like, is this whole thing about infinite possibilities and all this universe stuff, like, is this really true? I mean, you just have to look up. Look at this statement, right? So the universe is overwhelmingly made up of things that cannot be seen, right? Stars, planets, and percent is made up of substances that cannot be seen or easily comprehended, which means that there are things out there that we just still have no idea. Thoughts into how it all came about. The fact is, we still have no idea how it really believe in God or the universe is something bigger than yourself. You have to realize, whether you believe in it or not, there are things that's way bigger than you and I. There's things that we cannot all like a vast beach, and that's what this universe is. I have to, like, you won't be honest with yourself ourselves. And then we have this crazy fact that the universe is still expanding. And I would ask myself, well, if scientists are saying that it's still expanding, it's still getting bigger, it's still pushing out somewhere, then what is that energy? What is that force? Right? I mean, this is like, listen, this is heavy topics. This is probably topics that, the average person is not walking around thinking about. But I think about things like that, right? Like, what is that energy? Why is it still moving? Right? You can't have movement, you can't have mobility without energy. You can't have that without force and other things, other dynamics, other natural law in place. So what is that, right? And if it's doing it, if it's expanding, how can we access it? Is it something beyond us? Is it something we have the potential to access or the ability to? How and what I believe is because, again, there are answers that we just can't by ourselves. We can't figure out. And scientists are coming more and more to the fact that there is something that's intelligent, that's out there, that's caused these things to happen. It's just happening. It's just the way things happen is there's too much intelligence involved for it to it just be happenstance. I think it was a movie I was watching where it's like, you don't just throw words form sentences that form patterns. The fact that we could see and understand some things means that kind of components to speak about. There are possibilities. There are things above our control, and so, right, even though humanity is finite, which means we have a set amount of years that we live, right? For all these years, and also tapping into some immense power, immense potential. And so I bring this to the point of always having, and I tell people all the time, dream big. Dreaming big is such a powerful thing. When you dream big, It helps to give big motivation. It brings about big goals, big plans, big purpose. It's like a magnifying glass. Everything is just bigger. But the power of dreaming big is that you pull your present self into your future reality. And so it's like you have to say, okay, well, who is this future person? What does he look like? I have a vision of your future self, right? And your big dreams, hey T, thanks for your like. Your big dreams allows you to kind of see, to create that big picture that you need for progress. And motivation is not easy to come by. I mean, we're often not program or the job search or whatever things we kind of always want to. That's very positive for us. We find ourselves accomplishments are like reduced to small hurdles. And so, for example, things like going back to school to get a degree or get your bachelor's seem a lot smaller. It makes it feel more attainable, right? I went back to school 3 years ago, right? And I was 38 when doing so. So I'm one of those dudes in the movies, that old guy. And because acquiring my degree was I guess it just made my motivation so big. I was able to really work beyond, and it's difficult to accomplish the things in front of you, the plans that you have right in front of you, whether it's like losing weight or doing some other things, then maybe you just don't have any big dreams. Or sometimes, honestly, people don't have any vision of their future self because life has either just been so overwhelming currently, or there's things that you've gone through. You can't even imagine what a future version of yourself may look like, and that's going to be tough because you won't be able to really have the motivation to get to a place that you have not designated in your future if you have no direction. T says people get so overwhelmed with the idea of going back to school and doctorates, and I remember it felt like a week ago then they was like, oh, I'm going back to school, and now you look on their timeline, oh, I got my doctorate. You know, so again, if you've kind of backtracked from that big dream or that big that accomplishment, then begin to dream big again. You give yourself a really big destination to go to, right? To help fuel your motivation to get there. All right. So if you're trying to accomplish more than you are currently able to, where do you get the ability to do so? And so we're talking again about infinite possibilities. And your dream or that future version of yourself is still in the future. And so currently you're not that person yet, right? And so the question you have to ask yourself is, who is the future self and what qualities does that person have? Right? What does the best version of you do daily? Right? So one way to really begin to get into this concept of infinite possibilities and really being able to look into accomplishing really big and huge things is, what are your trends? What are you doing daily? And it comes back, I know we're speaking about trend to purpose for the last 2 months since I've been on this one vein, trend to purpose. What's your daily habits? How are you trending? And it's based on this whole social concept of a trend, right? So on Facebook or the internet, or there's topics or information that's being sent out about that person, and all of a sudden it brings light and it brings awareness to something that was once hidden. And so I always tell people, if you don't know your purposes, you'll never figure it out without trending, without having habits, or without doing things that will bring light to the thing that you can't see or the things you can't figure out yet. All right, you may not know where you want to go, but you certainly know what healthy habits are. You certainly know what healthy trends are, and what things that are good and positive for you feel like. And so working towards those things will 100% lead you towards your purpose, right? So when we talk about possibilities, the possibility is a chance that something may or may not happen, or exist. And so when I say you have infinite possibilities, happen to or for you, whether it's physical or mental healing, there's been so much talk recently about the power of healing and the power of the self to heal. There's a number of documentaries on Netflix about this. where people have terminal illness and some insane diagnosis that's like, it's a wrap, it's not going to look good for you. And a month down the road, the doctor goes in there and does a scan, and everything is gone, everything is here. Changing habits, and how that pretty much changed their diagnosis into something that was far more positive and far more something that they were in line with and happy about. And so I love stories like that. I love reading things like that. Like those types of things excite me. Again, when that happens, and again, you could have your arguments in terms of what's out there and who is out there and who is in charge of everything and who runs everything. But when you speak to someone who was able to accomplish this thing or able to resolve this illness or mental, what seems to be their own will and what seems to be their sense of like their tunnel vision, then it's like, how can you convince that person that there's not something out there that's bigger than what they can naturally describe, right? It's so heavy, and the healing documentary is not so much about religion or about God, but a lot of the people spoke about the fact that there was something that can only take them to exactly what the doctor said was going to happen. You have 2 months left, you have 4 months left, you have 5 months left. And this is big for me because and so now I'm faced with this this is my lot in life, this is my reality, this is the cards I've been dealt, or am I able to, like some people, sit down and start to kind of deal my own cards and start to reshuffle the deck and say, you know what, opportunities out there that I'm currently doing. And the question is like, what do you have to lose? It's like, what do I have to lose? I'm doing the treatments. You might as well believe in something more. You might as well do a little something better to give yourself the results that you are looking for. And so the possibilities are truly, I'm so happy my son is with me in the corner today. He can't really see it. Come say hi, Joe. I'm just joking right now. I'm trying so hard to help him see all these concepts I'm learning week and talking about week by week. And so I want to hear from you guys in terms of, what do you think about this concept of infinite possibilities? Do you really believe that we are able to do whatever we kind of put our mind to? I mean, we always hear that since we were a child. And if so, if you do believe that that's a possibility, then how do you believe you will get there? How do you believe you're able to access this world of infinite possibilities, the opportunities to do pretty much anything that you can really focus your mind on? I kind of have my ideas, and I know what's kind of been working for me currently. Okay, thanks for the message. And so, if you have not done this, starts with your mindset, right? If you have not done this yet, I think you should really think about who the future self is. And the future self meaning the best version of you. What does that person look like, right? What's his weight, right? What kind of clothes does he wear? What kind of cars does he drive? What kind of house does he live in? What kind of kids does he have? What kind of spouse does he have? Like, who is this person? If you don't have a vision of who that person is, then you're really not working towards anything, and there's no real intentionality in your current actions. And that can be frustrating because you find yourself doing a whole lot, and you find yourself thinking that you're moving forward, but still feeling like unaccomplished and still feeling like, I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing yet. It's because you have no idea where you want to go. So you have to have a clear definition. Like, it has to be crystal clear what they are, because it happens every single day, right? So like one day you do a diet, and the next day you do it again. Now you're 2 days in, now 3 days in, 4 days in, and it becomes a trend. It becomes a habit over time, right? So I guess the good part in that is that you don't have to look at the big picture, which is like, oh, I gotta lose 250 pounds. It's like, no, I can lose a pound every 3 days, or lose a pound every 2 weeks, or average a loss of a pound every week or every 2 months. Give yourself these smaller goals that lead to your bigger purpose. All right, but you have to have this definition of the future self. You have to know who that guy is. You have to know who that lady is. You have to know what she looks like. and what she's going to do. And you also have to know what's her daily habits, how she live her life from day to day. Because then once you start to align more like that person, and so that comes back to the online audio series that we have called Trend to. Thanks to You Have to Envision It Clearly. It's a worksheet that kind of guides you through the steps that we're talking about tonight, step by step. The trends that because we all have trends. The fact that we are living daily, it means that we're doing certain things every day. So whether you think you have habits or trends or not, we all have habits or trends. The question is, are they good habits? Are they good trends? Right? So we have them, but are they good or are they bad for us? And so the worksheet helps you to identify what your current trends are and helps you to align that with the trends that are going to lead to your purpose. The ability to accomplish, do amazing things every single day, one day at a time, right? And then we live an amazing life. It sounds simple. It's really not simple, but it is attainable. Everyone has the ability to do that. It comes to another book I read too, which says that talent is overrated, which I thought was a great book, which spoke to the fact that some of the great people weren't necessarily born with this ability, but they just developed habits over a very long period of time that led to their success. And when you watch the Jordan documentary and you see how Michael Jordan lived from the time they hated to play against him. I mean, when you have that type of will and drive, you really will change any industry. You really will change. I love him for that intensity. And it's the same thing when you hear LeBron James speak, or the same thing when you hear Steve Jobs speak. You know, answers you're just not able to. You weren't able to. Then that's not going to be. Good for you. We spoke last week, or actually a few weeks ago, about discomfort and what discomfort really is, and how whenever you're trying to change your life, or whenever you're trying to talking about trending towards purpose and building good habits and stuff. Now you're going to see some true discomfort. As much as you hate where you've been, it is comfortable and it's easy to do. You just wake up and you're there, right? Without any effort, you're in that natural place. And you're not happy what that is. And so in order to break from that place, you have to experience discomfort. That means for me, now I'm like, because I've been doing intermittent fasting, I'm like in my 6 hours, like, yeah, I would love to I think there's chicken upstairs. There's something I would love to go crazy and serve food right now, but I'm feeling very uncomfortable, but that discomfort is going to lead. Again, welcome discomfort, guys. It's going to be a sign that you are making the changes and that you're doing the things right to lead you towards your. It's available online. For the books and the worksheets and the meditations. There's a lot of resources online, so I'll go through that in a little bit so you can check it out. But I want to thank those who were able to share a little bit tonight about what they thought in terms of infinite possibilities. And I want you guys to really rethink that. Make that a part of your daily check how you're doing. Check in with that future guy to see how much you're trending towards him and towards what he's doing. And trust me, if you pay really close attention to that and to developing those habits, you'll find yourself looking more and more like that person every single day. And that's going to be an awesome thing. So again, to log in to get there, you can type in the referral code, which is also on top. And then you'll have access to see all the content, but you'll also have your own referral code, and you'll be able to sign others up as well. And so it's done this way so that we can the system can kind of track who's signing from doing that as well. And so we also help each other to earn money in the future as well. And so there's still a lot to come out. 2021 is going to be like much, but I certainly thank those who've already logged in and locked yourself in. The awesome thing about logging in at this point, early in the game, is that you have access. You're like at the top of the house, right? You have access to everything that's in month 2 or year 1. or year 5, you're going to be having access to from the very beginning. So again, talking about risk, go ahead and take this risk with me. Sign up for this service, which is only $2.99 a month. And it's going to be an awesome journey as we build this thing into something that's going to be helpful for people. Anyone who has interacted with any of the online content, I would love for you. I would just love to hear you share out before we go. Just kind of tell others what your online content. I know I have a few people. I'd love to hear you guys kind of share out before I log off, just to give some insight for those who are new to the program. By the way, so we're on every single Tuesday at 7, discussing various topics like this to help us really maximize ourselves and our thinking. Whereas we spoke about how to deal with bad news, healing, and so there's nothing that we don't talk about here on Tuesdays. And so I thank you for your time for the 45 minutes that you join in. And certainly I hope to see you again next week, same time. Go ahead and share the link and just invite others to come in as well and share out. Let's talk about the things that affect our mind and the things that will help us to really be better people. Before we go, I want to show you guys the video on full potential that we showed last week. That was based on the previous weekly meeting. So check this out. Let me know your thoughts.
Have you ever heard about the idea of your potential being full? Like someone saying you're not living up to your full potential? Well, what does that mean to visualize this? Ask yourself this question. How do you fill anything to capacity? It's simple. You need the content and a container. For example, to fill your car with gas, you need the content, the actual gas, and then the container, the tank. Can you fill a car with gas that has no tank? Of course not. It'll just spill on the floor. Similarly, if you asked for a glass of water, you would receive the water, the content, within a glass, the container. Otherwise, you're pouring water onto a flat surface, and it cannot be filled and becomes of no use. Your potential works the same way. To maximize your potential, you must find a container, or something to hold it in. A container provides the boundaries for the content to become full. Often, when we consider how we waste, boundaries of the container provide many valuable uses. In the reference of a glass of water, the boundary creates a barrier that promotes upward motion. Therefore, you can fill the glass with water when you continue to pour it out. The boundary also gives a focus and a sense. Enter a tunnel, you do not have options. You must drive in one direction because there are boundaries on both sides, and traffic is only flowing one way. In the same way, the boundaries of the glass give the water tunnel vision, a sense of where to go. Now your glass can become full, wasted, like pouring water onto a flat surface, or being poured to full, like pouring water into a glass. The container is tangible. You can feel the idea, but until you make it into something tangible, your potential cannot become full there. When you create your LLC, create your business plan, and you know in the same way, you can have a workout plan, but until you have a gym membership that provides access to that physical location, your plan is wasted potential. No sense of direction or focus. Focused potential is when you have the boundaries in place to provide a sense of direction for your potential. Continued use will increase your potential to full and can be accessed by the engine to move the car forward. This is important as your potential must be something that you protect. You must designate the container, the area in which you seek to pour it out. Finally, ensure that your container is ever increasing in size. A container is an object used to hold or transport something. You ever try moving with a full glass of water? The content, water, would spill out from side to side. Any water on the surface and not in the glass is wasted water and cannot be used. Consider this. The glass you first created when you started to pour your water must have been maximizing your potential, but you feel that there's nowhere to go. Your motion is stuck because you've become that full glass, and now it is not possible to move without the fire. You cannot be complacent, or your potential will be wasted. Let's sum it up this way. Ensure that you have a container can increase. To review this audio about full potential, it's always here for you. Thanks for watching. To watch our weekly live videos, follow us on facebook.com/official nexLv. Or use our guided meditations and worksheets. Sign up at www.nexLv.com. Use the referral code on screen. At nexLv, we believe that a healthy mind promotes a healthy body, and a healthy body promotes healthy actions that lead to success. Awesome, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for
those who shared out. I'll see you guys next week, Tuesday, as we begin to talk about topics that affect our thinking.